What happened? Am I not audible, students?
You are.
Yeah, so switch on your videos. Come on, quickly. Everyone. Also, did you people give the test? How was your test?
It was good.
It was good?
Yes, it was good.
Okay, good to hear that. All right, so as far as the test we're talking about, let me see one thing. See, there are a few things that I would like to discuss with you all, students. The first thing, like, it's about how you write your papers. Okay, so see, the first thing that I wanted to discuss is that, for example, if you have gotten the MCQs, the multiple choice questions, okay? Now, one question has 4 options, right? For example, this is question number 1. Now, if your answer is, for example, A, so when you're writing the answer for the first question, you write down the option number or the alphabet, for example, A, and then you write down whatever is written on it. Okay, this is how you write down the MCQs, the answer for MCQs. Now, for the 2 marks question, okay, for all the 2 marks question, what you're supposed to do, you do not have to provide a really long answer. Your answer does not have to be very descriptive, but it has to be descriptive enough. Okay, it doesn't mean that you'll write just 2 lines and call it an answer. No, not like that. You have to explain it, but not in a, like, you can say, big, lengthy sentence. Now, apart from that, another thing that I wanted to mention here is that, for example, if the question says, what is photosynthesis? Okay. Now, if the question is saying what is photosynthesis, it is not permissible to write it like this, like it is the process of making food by the green plants. No, you have to write it how I have given you in the form of a notes, like the process that the green plants use to make their own food with the usage of carbon dioxide, sunlight, water, and chlorophyll is called as photosynthesis, full stop. Then that becomes a answer. Okay, that becomes an answer. So you have to write it fully. It doesn't mean if the question asks you, you do not have to start from there. You have to write it everything on your own. You're getting my point? Why is no
Yes.
one responding today? What happened? Low on energy? Is everyone tired today?
Yeah,
Students,
ma'am.
what happened? You are tired?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I understand that. Okay. And no one is going to switch on their videos today? At least switch on your video. In that way, you don't even have to speak. I'll see you, you'll nod yes or no, and I'll understand. Switch on your videos. Why is nobody switching on their videos? I'm asking you to switch on your video and you're not switching on your video, students. Come on, switch on. And the focus mode is on, right? Sometimes students hesitate because of that. Yeah, the focus mode is on. What is the problem? Good. Good, Arya. Only Arya listened and respected me enough to switch on the video. What about others? Aisha and Mariam?
It's coming.
See, so as far as I was talking about the answer for the question, so this is for the 2 marks question. Now coming on to the 5 marks question. Now 5 marks is a lot, right? So you have to write a proper descriptive answer for a 5 marks question. Okay. For example, if the question is about photosynthesis only, so now only the definition will not suffice. You will have to write down a few things more other than the definition. You've written the definition, then other than that, you can put in some reactions, right? The reaction that is there, you can write that reaction also. then you have to make your answer a little descriptive whenever you're writing a 5 marks question. Okay. Now, for 10 marks, then you have to draw diagrams also. If the question has certain diagrams, you can draw diagrams and make it descriptive. So all I wanted to say is that don't make your answers just to the point. You know, when the answers are to the point without any explanation, you don't get enough marks. Are you people satisfied with the marks that you have gotten?
No,
Hmm?
mom.
No,
No,
right?
ma'am.
Okay. How much have you gotten?
Miss, I didn't get the results yet.
You haven't gotten the results?
No, miss.
I got.
You did? Yeah. And I think Aisha, what is your full name? Aisha?
No, ma'am, Aisha Arif.
Aisha Arif. I have seen your result also. So, like yours is like in front of me. So yeah, you have written the MCQs accordingly, like I said. But again, when you write about the 2 marks question, the 2 marks does not mean that, like for example, there was one question that said that write down the chemical equation of photosynthesis, isn't it? One question was that also.
Yes,
Now in
ma'am.
that question, you do not need to write anything else other than the chemical reaction, because that is what the question is asking. But
Yes,
for other languages question, you have to write down a proper descriptive one. You know, whenever you're writing the answers in a question, just believe that whoever is going to check your paper, for example me, I'm your teacher, so just think that ma'am does not know anything. Keep that in your mind. Like ma'am does not know anything, and by this answer, I am explaining ma'am everything that I know about this topic. Getting my point?
yes,
When you do that, you will make your answer very descriptive, very beautifully, you'll frame it. And if I read it, I'll feel like, okay, now my student knows every single thing about that topic. So the reason why I'm saying this much about how to write the answers is because I don't want you people to get your marks cut down. And I know that each and everyone who is here has a very good concept of the topics that I teach. It's just that you need to know how to apply it. If you do not apply it nicely, then what use of it is, isn't it?
yes.
So yeah. So is there any difficulty that you people faced while writing the, like while solving the question? You can discuss that with me also. Is there anything that troubles you while writing the answers? Or like, is it the case like you study nicely, you think that you've remembered everything, but during the exam, wipe off, blank? Does that happen with you? Blank? Because it used to happen with me also. Honestly, I used to go blank for so many times. So it's normal. But you know, what's the solution to that? It's after you are done learning the answers, after you're done learning the topics, what you need to do is note that down. Close the book, close every resource that you have. Whatever, for example, if you're learning now, everyone knows the definition for photosynthesis. I know that. But I'm taking example of photosynthesis only. Or for example, I'm taking double circulation. Now, the double circulation, everyone knows the definition for it. Now, once you're studying it, you're reading it from my notes that I've provided. Reading it from your NCRT books. Okay, now close both of them. Now you write down in a rough copy whatever you've learned, so that you should know how much your brain is retaining. And you know, it is a set, you can say, it is a very, it is a factual thing that once you've written down after learning, that gets imprinted in your brain. It will never leave your brain. Trust me on that. Okay, so if you have a problem of blanking or things go out of your brain during the exam, try to do this method. Maybe it will help. Who knows? Isn't it? Yes. So,
Yes.
yeah, any other problem anyone is facing other than the obvious ones that I've stated? It can be silly problems also. The reason why I'm discussing it with you, because no one discussed it with me. And I faced a lot of problems in my exams, and I don't want that to happen with all of you. So if you are facing any difficulties, come to me, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now
Ma'am, for
that,
me,
Yes,
it
mom.
only happens in bio.
yes,
For me, in science, it only happens in bio.
it only happens in bio. That
Yes.
breaks my heart. But okay, it only happens in bio. Okay, we'll fix it. As I told you, try this method that I've told you. Okay, first what you will do, open your book. Okay, open your book, read whatever topic or chapter that you're supposed to. Don't read it all at once. For example, like the whole entire chapter is divided into topics and subtopics, right? So take topic by topic.
Yes.
Don't go for the whole chapter all at once. Okay, take topic by topic. And once you're done with one topic, then refer to my notes, read my notes, and then close both of them. Write it down in your rough copy without cheating, without keeping in your book. Because if you're going to cheat there, then you're going to cheat, then the exam will cheat you. So, yeah. So once you're done learning, close it, write it down somewhere, and you match your answer. So you will know how much improvement you need. Okay, and as far as biology goes, this is not English, right? Like in English, we can make answers according to us, right? We can make stories in English, but in bio, you can't make stories. Bio is all fact. You can't say that blood is blue in color. You have to write that blood is green in green. See, I'm saying green in color, red in color. Okay, so bio is full of facts. So you have to learn the fact, just like how we used to learn GK, right? Same way for bio. Okay. Now I have told you all the tips and tricks. Now, if you apply them and if it works for you, do let me know. Also, the main thing is that I want you people to communicate with me so that all the problems that you people have, I will solve it for you personally, one on one. I'll pay attention to each and everyone so that all of you get full marks. I was going to say all of us. It's not my test, but all of you get full marks. Okay. Now, so
Miss,
we
once
have
the chapter gets over, is it possible to send these notes? Like
sent
when the
these
chapter,
notes.
yes, miss, the ones you write.
Hmm. I can send, like, you also take it down only, right?
Yes, miss, but then I wanted
You want
to.
my notes? Yeah, I'll send
Yes,
my
miss.
notes. It's all right. Okay, I'll
Thank
send it.
you.
Hmm. Okay, so we have done blood pressure, students. Blood pressure
No,
is done?
ma'am.
No? Okay. So we have learned up till double circulation. Do you people have any doubts up till double circulation? Okay. Are you people
No, ma'am.
studying so that you can have doubts? No, miss. Yes, miss. What? So.
Can you repeat your question?
I was like, I asked, like, do you people have any doubts? You said, like, you all said no. Then I said, are you people studying to have any doubts? Like, there was a saying, like, more study, more doubts. Less study, less doubts. No study, no doubts at all. So is that the case with you all?
No,
No?
ma'am.
Okay, good to know that. All right. Now, if any doubts arises, you can ask me. Now, talking about the blood pressure. Now, see, we know that even if we are talking about water flowing in a pipe, right, that exerts pressure on the walls of the pipe, because we can feel it as soon as you open the hose, the water hose, you will feel that the pipe becomes heavy as the water comes along. So that is the pressure that it provides. Same way, the blood that flows in the blood vessels, because blood vessels are nothing but pipelines of our body only that transports blood instead of water. So the pressure that is exerted by the blood that is flowing in them, that is known as the blood pressure. And this blood pressure is exerted on the walls of the blood vessels. Now, what are the blood vessels? It is arteries and veins. Now, the contraction, you remember that when the auricles contract, the blood moves into the ventricle, and when the ventricles contract, the blood goes to the whole entire body, right? So this contraction in terms of biology is known as systole. Okay, meaning in terms of heart and heart's terminology. So contraction is known as systole, and relaxation, like after contracting the auricle, for example, it will not stay contracted forever, right? It will relax, right? So that relaxed state and relaxation is known as diastole. So systole and diastole means contraction and relaxation. Okay. Now, the pressure that is exerted by the systole, meaning by the contraction, that is known as the systolic pressure. And the pressure that is exerted by the diastole, meaning the relaxation, is known as diastolic pressure. Now, if you see amongst them, if you talk about the pressure of the systole and if you talk about the pressure of the diastole, which one do you think will be higher?
Systole.
Systole. Why? Because it is contracting. Anything that is contracting would have a higher pressure, right? Now, the normal blood pressure of human beings is 120 over 80 millimeters of Hg. Hg is mercury. Like, for example, when we measure anything, we require some unit to put it, right? For example, we use kilometers for distance, we use centimeters also, we use liters for water volume. So same way, the unit for blood pressure measurement is millimeters of mercury. You might have seen that machine, that thing that is strapped onto the arm, and there is a machine that, like, when the nurse or the doctor pumps it, the thing goes up and down. That is going up and down because of the mercury. Okay, that is the whole apparatus. But the unit of blood pressure is known as millimeters of mercury. Clear? Now here, 120 over 80 millimeters of mercury, mmHg. It is read like 120 by 80. No, it is read as 120 over 80, in which this 120, the upper one is the systolic blood pressure, and the 80 is the diastolic blood pressure. This is the normal blood pressure of human beings, the normal one. Now, if the blood pressure is increasing above this said blood pressure, then we'll call it as high blood pressure or hypertension. There is always someone in the whole entire family that has high. Do you people have anyone in the family that has hypertension or high blood pressure?
Yes, mom.
No? Okay, yes, for Arya. Okay. Yes, many people have hypertension or high blood pressure. See, why does this happen? Why does the blood pressure increases above the 120 over 80 and becomes a disease? Now, I'll tell you why. See, for all those people that do not have a very healthy lifestyle, meaning they do not exercise, firstly. Secondly, they eat a lot of junk food. They eat a lot of meat. They eat a lot of oily food. So for all those things, why are you smiling, Mariam? Does it
I
remind
do
you
all
of
that.
something? Hmm?
I do all that.
You do all that. Oh, don't, or decrease it. Okay, so yes, so for all those people who do what I just said, so what happens? These things, they start getting collected in the blood vessel. I mean, because these are junk food, and the oil that the people they use, it's not a good oil, right? The vendors that they use. So what happens, for example, see, I've drawn this thing so many times, like I've taught this same thing to so many people. Okay, see here. For example, if this is the blood vessel, inside of the blood vessel, normally the blood will flow through it, isn't it? And here the blood vessel does not have any constriction. Constriction as in, what do you call constriction? Like anything that is to hinder the process of the movement, right? Now, when a person eats a lot of junk, does not exercise, eats a lot of red meat, mostly. So what happens? That fat molecule, like a person gets fat also, isn't it? Obesity and everything that happens. Now that fat molecule starts getting collected in the blood vessel, like this. Okay, it will get collected here, all the sides. Okay, now if you see, if the fat molecules or if the junk gets collected in the blood vessels, will the blood vessel narrow or get widened?
Widened.
Widened.
Narrow.
It will get narrow, no? For example, if there is a pipe through which the water flows, now some stones got stuck into the pipe. Now the area for the blood, for the water to flow will be more or less?
Less.
Less. Same goes for the blood vessels only. Okay. Here, because of these deposition of fat molecules, like the lumen or the cavity of the blood vessel, it narrows down. So initially it had this much space for the blood to pass through. Now it becomes like this because of the deposition. Okay. So now remember again that thing, when you press onto a hose, the water flows really quickly. And if you leave it, the water flows normally. So same thing is happening here only. Okay. So here the cavity of the blood vessel is narrowing down. So the blood flow will get very fast because of it, because the space is less. So this is what causes high blood pressure. Now, high blood pressure in terms of, like in the clinical term, it is known as hypertension. Any doubts? Hypertension is clear to everyone?
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now, the instrument that is used to measure the blood pressure is known as sphygmomanometer. This is the name of that instrument that goes high up and down. Okay, that thing is sphygmomanometer. Now, so this is what we have learned
Few
about the blood
people
pressure.
get low blood pressure. Why is that?
Low blood pressure. See, low blood pressure, there are multiple reasons for low blood pressure. Here means like for the people that have low BP, that is hypotension. Now, if in their case, they do not eat enough. They do not eat enough as they are supposed to. Here, people are eating excessively, and there the people is like the people are not eating enough. Okay, and there are many reasons to get low blood pressure, but not eating enough, not eating right is one of the reasons. Now, after this, there comes a thing in mind as to how can we differentiate arteries and veins. So firstly, all the arteries, they carry oxygenated blood. We know that, except for one that does not carry oxygenated blood. Rather, it carries deoxygenated blood, and that is the pulmonary artery. Now, all the veins, they carry the deoxygenated blood, except for one that carries oxygenated blood, that is the pulmonary vein. Now, apart from that, another difference here is that the lumen, how do I tell you the lumen? For example, if this is the blood vessel, okay? Now, if I want to look it from here, okay, like this. Now, this part, the cavity part, the circular part will become the lumen of the blood, okay? You getting what I'm saying? For example, this is the blood vessel. Now, I'm looking it from here. So, this is the blood vessel. Now, I look here, for example, from here. Now, this part is the lumen of the blood vessel, okay? Now, if we talk about the lumen of arteries, it is smaller as compared to the veins. The veins have a broader lumen. The arteries would have a narrower lumen naturally. Okay. Now, the smaller arteries or the branch of the arteries are known as arterioles that are little arteries. Now, the junction wherein the artery and the veins meet, the junction in between, the net-like structure in between them, that is the capillaries. Okay. Or apart from that, another difference between arteries and veins is that these green things everyone has on their hands, right? These are the veins. Almost all of us have it. Here also you can see the green things. And some people have such thin skin that here also veins and veins can be seen. So those green blood vessels that we can see here, these are our veins. We can see our veins. We can actually see our veins. And the ones that we cannot see, arteries are deep situated. You cannot see your artery. Arteries are deeply situated. So all that we see are veins. Okay, the greenish or bluish. It varies from people to people. Any doubts up until now?
No, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now we'll talk about the platelets and what they do. Now we know that platelets are one of the components of the blood apart from WBC and RBC. Now these platelets are very important for us because they are helpful in the blood clotting process. Blood clotting. So as soon as we get any injury, any cut or anything, we start bleeding. Now you might have noticed that the bleeding goes on for a while, but then it stops. The bleeding stops eventually, and at the site, for example, if I did get a cut over here, now this portion will have a thick coating of stuff that is very hard and it is very tempting. Whenever it is formed, we want to scratch it off. Even I just like, as soon as it is formed, I scratch it off. So that thing that is formed is a clot. And that happens because of the platelets. What they do is that they make that clot, they make a mesh, sort of like a net around the wound, so that excessive blood does not get lost from our body. So that thing, that scabby, the scab is known as a scum or a clot, and it is formed at the site of the injury. Wherever the injury has taken place, there you'll find it. Okay. So next time you feel tempted to remove it, please don't, because your platelets have worked really hard for you. Even I will not. Yes, Arya, you were asking me something?
Uh, the scab, is it made of live blood cells or dead blood cells?
Yeah, see, all those red blood cells that are dead, they
Okay.
get trapped in that. Okay, apart from that, dust particles and stuff, or the blood that was on the surface, that also gets trapped there. So it is sort of like a combination of it. It's just there, it's there sort of like a plug so that the blood doesn't keep losing. Now, for all those people that have had been affected with dengue, the disease that is dengue, in those people, these platelets get reduced a lot. Like platelets in our body, they are in the number of 1,50,000. Like every normal individual have 1,50,000 platelets in our body. But during that disease, the platelets go up to the level of 10,000 and even 5,000 in some people. And those people die actually because of this, like internal bleeding. Okay. So you've understood the platelets and what they do. All right. Now, the next thing that we are going to see is the lymph. Now, lymph is the tissue fluid. Now, how is it different from the plasma? The lymph is colorless fluid and it contains less proteins as compared to plasma. It is another type of liquid that is circulating in our body. Talking about the functions, so the lymphs are responsible for the absorption of fat. Apart from that, it drains the excess fluid from the extracellular space to the blood. So it does the process of drainage also. Excessive fluid gets drained out because of the lymph, and absorption of the fat, that happens through the lymph only. So lymph is also known as the tissue fluid. It is colorless and it has less proteins, and it is responsible for these two functions. Any doubts up until now, students? Okay. Now you can note it down. Then we'll move forward. Whilst you're noting it down, you can switch off your camera, write down comfortably. It's fine. Understand, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Done. Shall I scroll?
done.